For the past few weeks, railroad workers from the two biggest unions representing engineers and conductors have been voting on a new contract. That's the tentative agreement 12 unions reached with the Class 1 railroads back in September, less than 24 hours before the end of a mandated cooling off period. That meant tens of thousands of workers could go on strike. One of the issues at the center of these contract negotiations has been time off, or the lack of it. News 8's Jenna Webster has been covering BNSF workers' fight against a points-based attendance policy. And tonight, in a News 8 special report, she brings us an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at one engineer's life on the railroad.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Your friendly neighborhood locomotive engineer here.
For 12 years now, Joel Lewis has dedicated his life to the railroad.
All right, so this is kind of what it looks like on the head end.
Working as an engineer for BNSF.
And once we get that light from red to green, we'll take off.
He spent a month documenting his time working on the railroad and living away from home.
All right, I just showed up at the depot. Good morning, folks. It's about 4 a.m. This trip I'm going to go about 290, 280, 200 so miles north. Hotel, depot, home, hotel, depot, home.
Taking us behind the scenes for an exclusive look to show just how unpredictable the job is.
When you're on call 24/7, 365, when your only time you're not subject to call is the 10 hours after you tie up or get off work. Everywhere you go, you've got your phone in your pocket. You're worried about missing a call.
In an average month, he'll spend around 200 hours on the train and another 200 hours in a hotel room.
Going on about 24 hours of being awake here.
Well, it's never been a typical 9 to 5. He says it's been a frustrating 9 months since BNSF started High Vis, the points-based attendance policy where railroaders lose points for days taken off.
You know, it's Halloween, so then it's Halloween's a high impact day. So if you want to know the days they punish us most for taking off are the days that you'd like to spend with your family.
It means having to pick and choose.
Well, yesterday was my wife's birthday. Today is my daughter's senior night for football cheer.
And picking and choosing to lay off or take off those 2 days meant having to sacrifice something else.
It looked like I was going to be able to attend my brother's wedding on Saturday, but everything stopped moving.
Conductors and engineers were ready to strike over the high-vis attendance policy last winter, but were blocked by a federal judge in Texas. It all comes down to the Railway Labor Act making a rail strike extremely difficult, but also the impact a strike would have on the supply chain. Now, under the high-vis policy, the only way to earn points back is by working 14 days in a row, and it's a policy Lewis says is here to stay.
There's a camera right there that watches everything that we do.
The 12 unions representing rail workers spent nearly 3 years negotiating a new contract with Class 1 rail carriers like BNSF. The tentative agreement reached in September includes an immediate wage increase of 14% and 24% over the next 5 years, stretching back to 2020.
Money's not the thing, you know. I mean, the money's good. A lot of people are upset because there's no quality of life issues that are being put in there.
That would be staffing levels, such as mandating 2-person crews and paid sick time. It's why the unions were asking for the new contract to include 15 paid sick days.
Which I thought we were never going to get that, but I thought a couple, you know, if we got a couple, that would help out.
Instead, workers will be able to schedule 3 instances throughout the year for medical visits. But the catch is that they have to request 30 days in advance, and they must take place on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
I don't know when I'm going to be sick, but it does help in the framework that doctor's appointments are hard to get to.
And there's no language that says the carriers can't switch to 1-person crews, something that concerns Lewis, who would be on the train alone.
I was stuck on the side of a hill at 3 o'clock in the morning with no cell service. I had dropped the conductor off at one point because we had issues. Never had panic attacks before, ever. And then after that incident, sometimes, you know, just a little bit.
It's a job with long days in an 8x8 box.
So imagine going 30 miles an hour for 8 hours straight.
And a job he believes less people will be signing up for because of the quality of life issues. But this contract right now might just be the best they're going to get.
I'm not saying I'm a yes or a no vote. You're never going to get everything you want. If you can get little bits at a time, kind of stick your foot in the door, leaves it open to negotiations later. It's not it's not what everybody wants to hear.
For now, life on the unpredictable railroad will keep rolling down the tracks.
Here we go. We're going to go move some freight.
In Galesburg, Jenna Webster, WQAD News 8.
So far, 7 smaller unions have voted to approve their tentative agreements, while 3 have voted against. BLET and Smart TD, the unions representing engineers and conductors, are expected to announce the results of their votes on Monday.